follows a bi-monthly meeting schedule. First meeting of the month is called our committee meeting. At this meeting, we discuss fully our agenda for the board meeting to be held typically the third Thursdays of each month, but for the summer, it's a different schedule. As board members, we encourage you to attend, watch, and listen to our committee discussion, which results in action at the board meetings. For full disclosure, our committee meetings and board meetings are always announced, video and audio taped, as well as posted to our webpage for your view. All of our meetings are public and visitors are always welcome. Mrs. Camphouse, please call the roll.
Mr. Riley.
Present.
Mrs. Cole. Present. Ms. Fowler. Present. Mr. Taylor.
Present. Everyone's here. Items 1.03, 1.04, and 1.05, that's the, oh, I apologize, I'm getting ahead of myself. 1.03, I'd like to ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So 1.04 is the adoption of tonight's agenda. I would like to make a motion to adopt tonight's agenda as written.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion on the agenda for tonight? Mrs. Camphouse, please call the roll.
Mr. Riley.
Yes.
Mrs. Cole. Yes. Ms. Fowler. Yes. Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
With our agenda adopted, we'll move on. 1.05 is the minutes for the regular board meeting held May 12th. 1.06 is the minutes for the committee meeting held June 7th. And 1.07 is the minutes from the Finance Committee meeting also held on June 7th. I'd like to make a motion that we approve those minutes as submitted.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camphouse, please call the roll.
Mr. Riley.
Yes.
Mrs. Cole. Yes. Ms. Fowler. Yes. Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
All right, with those housekeeping items out of the way, we'll move on to section 2 in our agenda, which are the presentation section. And 2.01 is the recognition of Rising Star senior athletes. And I'd like to turn the floor over to our athletic director, Mr. Chuck Ricketson.
All right. Good evening, President Atwood and members of the board. This year we've had many successes on and off the field. Off the field, off the court. On the field, on the court, on the soccer pitch, you name it, we've had some success. We just graduated the class of 2022 on May 24th. And before they depart to go to school, go to school, go to the workforce, we want to make sure that they were honored and sent off, I guess, from the athletic department in a proper way. So we have 7 student athletes that we're honoring this evening. So we want to make sure that they are recognized. We have 6 of the 7 here. So I'm going to read a little bit about them all. And then when you hear your names, please stand as called, okay? All right, so our first student athlete this evening is Jason Almengord. And Jason is here with his family. So Jason had an outstanding soccer season on the pitch. He led his team with 18 goals and assisted on 4, giving him a total of 40 points. His 40 points led the Miami Valley Conference. He was also named first team Miami Valley Conference for his efforts. Jason was also a multi-sport athlete. He was a member of the Norwood varsity tennis team. So if we could give a round of applause for Mr. Jason Almengord. Our next athlete this evening, who we're going to be recognizing, she's not here, but that's okay. Our next athlete is Hannah Green. Hannah Green was the ace of the Norwood varsity softball team. She was the ace of the Miami Valley Conference as well, being named Pitcher of the Year. Hannah posted a record of 86 with 10 complete games. Hannah was also a member of the Norwood volleyball team. Even though she's not here this evening, let's give a round of applause for Hannah Green. All right, our next student athlete this evening is Miss Alina Grubbs. All right, Alina did take a season off playing volleyball, basketball, and softball. In all 3 sports, she was named All-Miami Valley Conference. For volleyball, she was second team. Basketball, she was honorable mention. In softball, she was second team. Her production of the softball field was a big key to the team's success. Alina hit .535, had 34 RBI as runs batted in, 14 stolen bases, 2 home runs. On the basketball court, she had 7 double-doubles, including a monster game versus Seven Hills in the Ohio High School Athletic Association State Tournament. Alina had 23 points and 20 rebounds. Alina was also named the 2021-2022 Norwood City Schools Female Athlete of the Year. If we can have a round of applause for Miss Alina Grubb. All right, I was wrong. We have 5 or 6 here. So our next athlete that we're going to be recognizing this evening is Mr. Elijah Parton. Elijah defines the true meaning of a Norwood student athlete. His grit and grind were on display in each one of the 3 sports that he played. He had 45 catches for 485 yards and 6 touchdowns as a wide receiver on the football team. He was named second team All-Miami Valley Conference. As a basketball player, he was third on the team in scoring, averaging 6.7 points a game, 6 rebounds, and shot 44.4% from three-point range. He was also named honorable mention All-Miami Valley Conference. Elijah was also a member of the Norwood track and field team, where he ran multiple races and participated in multiple events. Elijah was named the 2021-2022 Norwood Male Athlete of the Year. Even in his absence, let's give Elijah Parton a round of applause. All right, we had 3 student athletes who broke numerous Norwood records, so we want to make sure that that was highlighted as well this evening. Our next athlete that we're going to be recognizing is Miss Anna Geis. And I wrote this because she's really quiet. You wouldn't even know she's a student athlete if you didn't know it. But Anna is Norwood's best kept secret. She holds records in the 300-meter hurdles, and she is a multiple-time Ohio High School Athletic Association district qualifier and regional qualifier in the 110-meter hurdles, 300-meter hurdles, and long jump. In addition to her success on the track, Anna was also a member of the Norwood girls soccer team, where she scored 5 goals and had 4 assists. And she was named first team All-Miami Valley Conference as a defenseman. Let's have a round of applause for Ms. Anna Geis. All right, our next student athlete is Mr. Ryan Peter. Ryan holds the distinction of being a multiple record holder in Norwood. His junior year, Ryan threw for 2,296 yards, which is a school record. In his 4 seasons as our signal caller, Ryan threw for 6,012 yards. I'm going to repeat that. Ryan threw for 6,012 yards. That's a lot of yards. He was named first team All-Miami Valley Conference for his efforts on the football field. On the baseball diamond, Ryan excelled. Ryan hit .359 with 14 RBI, that's runs batted in, 9 stolen bases, and 1 home run. Ryan made history again, throwing one of 3 consecutive no-hitters by the Norwood baseball team in 1 week. Let's have a round of applause for Mr. Ryan Peter. And our last student athlete is not here this evening. She's on vacation with her family in St. Petersburg, Clearwater Beach, Florida, for Mr. Ward. But our next athlete this evening will be Summer Ward. Summer's 2021 soccer season was one for the record books, literally. She scored a record 30 goals and assisted on 8 other goals. And she was second in the Miami Valley Conference with a total of 68 points. Summer was named first team All-Miami Valley Conference, grade division, and she was also named the Miami Valley Conference Athlete of the Year. She was Ohio High School Athletic Association Division III Southwest District Honorable Mention. And in the fall, Summer signed a national letter of intent to play Division I soccer at Moorhead State University in Moorhead, Kentucky. She will enroll in the fall of 2022. Summer was also a key contributor to the girls varsity basketball team. Let's have a round of applause for Ms. Summer Ward. I want to thank you all for your time, your dedication, and your hard work to the Norwood Athletic Department. We wish you much success moving forward. Of course, this is always home, so please come back and give back. Parents, I want to thank you for your time and dedication as well. Those countless rides home, taking friends home as well, and just pouring into your student athletes. So I know it's only a year one for me, but grateful for a group of parents like you all, supportive parents, and I hope everyone else, all the other parents that we deal with from now on are like you. So thank you all. Thank you for the time. Thank you for being here this evening. That's all I got. Thank you.
Big congratulations to all the student athletes. And don't go anywhere just yet, because I believe my fellow board members want to take some pictures with those in attendance. So if we could get that together real quick, Terry? Yeah. So we're going to go right over here by this panel wall.
And all the athletes go over here by the end. We stand with the board members and then all this group in here. Everybody else.
You're tall, so get in.
You're tall, you're in the back. She does this every month. We all know what to do. And there, okay, now we're all going to come in together. Yes. We just go out How's that? Oh, nice. That's good. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Doing it again. 1, 2, 3. And again. Thank you.
All right.
Presentation on the agenda. I'll turn the floor over to Superintendent Ronan, who is a recognition of Norwood City School District retirees.
Yes, do the double duty. We don't have our clicker here. We want to thank all of our retirees who've given just so many years to the children of the district. So with us here tonight is Lynn Yates. We'll start with you. And we have a great picture of you, and I believe that those are the youngsters who went to Sharpsburg Elementary and then came back at graduation time to get a picture with you. We will miss you greatly. In fact, this is the second time you've left me, so I will miss you double. And I understand that Mrs. Cole has a sweet treat for you when you leave. All right, I didn't know if you wanted to say a few words.
That I want to thank you. Don't ever ask me to talk.
We'll give you 2 minutes.
I just, there's a couple of things I learned in becoming a leader, and the first is you can't have a large ego, you got to have a strong ego, and you can't think too much of yourself. And the second one is you always want to surround yourself with smart people, and you want to be the dumbest guy in the room, and that was always easy for me. I could always accomplish that one with no problem. I surrounded myself with good people and smart people and great people, and that's what I got to experience here, is working in this great community with all these wonderful families and the wonderful students that are a result of our wonderful families, and the wonderful leadership, the amazing leadership that's provided in this little tiny school district right here. And you guys just, keep up the great work. You do wonderful work. And certainly I have to say, Mary, it's been a privilege for me to go out this year under your tutelage, under your leadership, and you are truly the best superintendent in the state of Ohio. So I thank you for everything you've done for me. So thank you, Norwood. Norwood City School District, and also the Norwood community. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate everything you do.
Oh, I just love it. You say that.
Mr. Yates.
Oh, you're not getting away.
Don't leave yet. Don't leave. I just wanted to say a few things, and hopefully you can hear in the from the microphone. But I just want to say that I met Mr. Yates 10 years ago. I was a parent of 2 Norwood View students who are sitting in the back, and my husband, who would not have missed this for the world, because we think the world of Mr. Yates. But when I met him 10 years ago, he made a really strong impression on me. And I was talking with my oldest son the other day, and we were reminiscing, and I told him my first memory of Mr. Yates, and I said, do you think I should share this at the board meeting? And he said no. He said that should be, keep that between you guys. And so I'll tell you about that later. But you just made a heck of an impression on me and my family as well. I think you're a terrific principal, but I think even more so than that, I think you're just a great guy. And I just really appreciate, I'm honored to know you. I'm a better person for knowing you. I think of Chick-fil-A. It's like you go to Chick-fil-A and you get like this amazing service, and I don't want to knock any other fast food restaurants, but Mr. Yates, you are the Chick-fil-A of principals. And I just wish that however Chick-fil-A trains those people, I wish that we could train principals the way that you have been to us. I'm a business major, I'm not an education major, and in business, one of the things I've learned over the 20-something years that I've been in business is when one of your best employees quits or retires or whatever, you're allowed to mourn that person for 10 minutes, and then you start strategizing. How am I going to fill this role? How am I going to move past this? And I just can't seem to do that in this case. This is just one that rule just doesn't apply. These shoes cannot be filled. I tease Tom every time I see him. I say, you better not screw this up. And, and I laugh, but I mean it, because it's just, I would hate to be somebody coming in to fill the role that you're leaving. I feel for Tom for having to do that. So I just want you to know that the Cole family will miss you tremendously. Like I said, they're here to see you tonight and to support you tonight. But for those of you that don't know, I make something, peanut butter fudge, that Mr. Yates just loves. And so I'm going to hang that over his head, and I will make sure that he has that every year for Christmas, so that way I get to see him every year. So, like I said, we love and appreciate everything you've done for us, and I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, that was lovely. Now, we lost a lot of great teachers this year, so we also had their pictures and also where they taught and what they did. We have Lynn Yates. She was the preschool teacher at Williams Avenue Elementary. She'll be greatly missed. Robin Danielson, she was the title and ESL teacher. We have, Steve Shanee, this is his second retirement. He retired as a math teacher and then came back and helped tutor math for us. And Kimberly Cottrell, our EMIS coordinator, who kept us on the straight and narrow with the state of Ohio. We also lost Allison Birch, the business teacher at Norwood High School, Brad Hunt, the math teacher at Norwood High School, and Susan Martini, 6th grade teacher and 5th grade teacher moving to 6th grade at Norwood View Elementary. So we want to thank all those teachers for the many, many years of service.
The business teacher at Norwood High School, Brad Hunt, the math teacher at Norwood High School, and Susan Martini, 6th grade teacher and 5th grade teacher moving to 6th grade at Norwood View Elementary. So we want to thank all those teachers for their many, many years of service. They will be missed. And that concludes this part of the program.
All right. And keeping with tradition, I think it's only fitting that we get our picture taken with
Mr. Yates.
Mr. Yates. Yeah?
Well, View was my home, so
again.
I agree with you. He took my home and made it awesome. Loved it. I think I missed the place. You get the middle.
Yeah, you get right here. Okay.
one, just the cold boys here, one on this side. Thank you. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Very good. Thank you.
All right.
All right, so that concludes our presentation section of our agenda. We're going to move on to section 3 in our agenda, which is the Education Committee report, and I would like to turn the floor over to Board Member Ms. Ballard.
Thank you, Mr. President. Get this thing pulled up here. Let's see here. In Board Docs, the first item up is 3.01, the Programs of Study for Norwood High School. They are listed there in Board Docs for the 22-23 school year. And 3.02 includes the high school, middle school, and elementary preschool handbooks, which we got to view at our last meeting. Those again are available in Board Docs if you need to review anything further, but I think we all had a good chance to look at those over, and they looked amazing. They'll be streamlined from now on for the elementary schools for consistent policies and procedures for all of our elementary/preschool buildings in the district. I would like to make a motion to go ahead with 3.01 and 3.02 as presented.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion on the handbooks or the program of study? Mrs. Camphouse, please call the roll.
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes.
Miss Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes. With that passing, we'll move on to section 4 in our agenda. This is personnel superintendent recommendations, and I'd like to turn the floor over to Superintendent Ronan.
Thank you, President Atwood. 4.01 is our final retirement. Lynn Yates, the preschool teacher at Williams. Our other teachers had appeared in the previous last month's board meeting. She will definitely be missed. Then under 4.02, this is employment. So we are looking at summer school. We're still approving staff for our summer school program. Section 2, supplemental, Dan Luking for our varsity boys soccer. Number 3 is a resolution to hire our coaches and advisors on pupil activity contracts for the 22-23 school year. And also Avenues for Success, which is running right now. We've had to hire a number of site coordinators, as you can see. And I am going to stop right there because we do have a box to vote for the personnel recommendations.
All right, thank you, Superintendent Ronan. I would like to make a motion that we approve 4.01 retirement and 4.02 subsections 1, 2, and 3 as outlined.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camphouse, please call the roll.
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes.
Miss Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes. All right, Superintendent Ronan.
All right, 4.03 is the Norwood Teacher Association contract plus 4 MOUs. The NTA did ratify it on June 8th. I believe you all have it online, but this is the actual agreement here, and it's up for approval by the board since the NTA had their membership did ratify it. It is good for 3 years from August 1st of 2022 to July 31st of 2025.
All right, I would like to make a motion that we approve 4.03, which is the NTA contract and subsequent MOUs from July 1st, 2022 through June 20th, 2025.
I'll second.
Any discussion? I'd just like to thank our administrative team for their hard work, and going through contract negotiations is never easy, and the time and effort that's put through there is greatly appreciated. Mrs. Campus, please call the roll.
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes.
Miss Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
All right, Superintendent Brennan.
4.04 is the administration and exempt employees verbiage that they would get the same benefits as in TA because they are not included in that master agreement. So that's what that verbiage is, and it also needs to be voted on.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve 4.04, which is the administration and exempt employees language.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camphouse, please call the roll.
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes.
Miss Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
With that, that concludes the personnel section of our agenda, and we'll move on to section 5, which is the policy committee report. And I would like to turn the floor over to Vice President Cole.
Thank you, Mr. President. So we have 3 policies for the first readings tonight. The first one is ECA, and this has to do with building and grounds security. So this one is revised to say that the staff must follow all safety policies in the school emergency operations plan, including ensuring that all exterior doors remain locked at all times. The second one, they're the same one, it's KD and BBDH, and this is public participation at board meetings. So we are amending the policy to when we have the public come in to speak, we will be adding this to the words that are read before the speaker starts. So the board will not be able to comment on public participation topic or address each participant. This does not indicate a lack of concern or a lack of action on behalf of the board. Board members will follow through with administration as needed. So that will just be adding that so that our speakers understand what we can and can't do when they come to speak with us. And then finally, we have the second reading of DLC-R. So this is a regulation, and this has to do with expense reimbursement. So this one is if we have a trip that is longer than 3, I don't know if it's 3 days or 3 nights, how the wording is, but longer than 3 days, our staff can look into alternative places to stay, like Airbnbs, things like that. And then if they are able to stay in a place like that, it's saying that we will also cover grocery expenses in place of restaurant meals. So it's going to be a cost savings in the end for some of those longer trips. So I would like to motion to approve the following new policies and revisions of policies and regulations.
I'll second. Any discussion? So I just want to reiterate here that for policies ECA, which is the building and grounds, and the public participation policies, those are just the first readings. So we'll do that this month, and then we'll do it the second reading next month. For the expense reimbursement, we've already had the first reading last month, so this will be the second reading, and upon approval tonight, this will go into effect. Any other discussion? Mrs. Camphouse, please call the roll.
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes.
Miss Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
With that completed, we'll move on to section 6 in our agenda, which is the Building and Grounds Committee report. Since Mrs. Rarica is not here, I'll go ahead and take care of that section. So this is approval for facility usage. We do have 3 requests. The Norwood Fireworks Committee is requesting to use Shea Stadium for the Norwood Hometown Fireworks on Monday, July 4th, 2022 from 6 to 11. The Norwood Health Department and Children's Hospital looks to use our Norwood High School gym for Cancer Prevention Health Fair, Saturday, July 16th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And the third request is Norwood Together is requesting the middle school lawn and playground for their community council meeting on Thursday, August 25th from 6:30 to 9. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the facilities requests as written.
I'll second.
Any discussion? I do have one question, and I believe Mr. Peter is here. For the Health Department at Children's Hospital, is the current condition of the high school going to impact that facility request?
It's pretty likely there will not be air conditioning. But other than that, it would be useful.
Okay. So we'll have to let them know to see if that's going to be okay. If that's not okay, what does the field house look like?
Field house is usable.
Field house is usable? Okay. So we may want to float that to them as a backup option. If,
No, I agree.
yeah.
The person coordinating that is a friend of mine. I can shoot that message over to her later to
Perfect.
pass along to her superior.
Yep.
Okay.
I got a question for fireworks. Are they want inside the concession, or is it just? There's a lot of stuff in there right now. The boosters are gonna have to get down there. There's a lot of stuff.
That's a good question.
Because in the past, they put stuff in coolers, but
Yeah.
there's all kinds of stuff.
So we may want to clarify with the fireworks committee if they need the inside concession space. Because that would be good to know, so that way everybody has time. Yeah.
We will follow up on that.
Any other discussion? Mrs. Camphouse, please call the roll.
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
With that approved, we'll move on to section 7 in our agenda. This is the Finance Committee report, and I would like to turn the floor over to our treasurer, Mrs. Camphouse.
Thank you, Mr. President. The CFO report, financial reports, and change order listings are attached for your review. Most of these we've already gone over, so I'm just going to really quickly go through finances. 7.02 appropriation resolution. This is our final budget for this year. 7.03 is our temporary appropriations for next year. 7.04 certificate of estimated resources, our estimated revenues for this year. That's final. 7.05 transfers and advances from the general fund, some to severance fund, some to capital projects, and some to the general athletic fund. And then a transfer from the OHSAA tournament fund to the athletic fund. 7.06, our insurance renewal for next year. 7.07, Warren County Career Ed Agreement. This is a special ed agreement per an IEP. 7.08 is new Heinemann Professional Development. This contract will provide professional coaching services to our 3rd through 5th grade math teachers. It is on the agenda because it's over, just slightly over what I'm allowed to approve without board approval. 7.09 donations. Again, we talked about this last week. Kroger 1438 and Ashley Shelby ran a Donors Choose fundraiser that brought in equipment worth just over $1,000 for the middle school library. So that is awesome. 7.10 21st century exempt staff salaries. This has been a couple of years. It's been several years actually since we changed these part-time staff salaries, so that their hourly rate will be as listed. 7.11 Board of Revision Settlement Agreement we talked about last time, and 7.12 then and now purchase orders that we talked about last time. And that is all I have for finance.
All right, I would like to make a motion that we approve the finance items 7.01 through 7.12 as presented to us.
I'll second.
Are there any discussions on these finance items? I know we went through a lot of this stuff a couple weeks ago. All right, Mrs. Camphouse, please call the roll.
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
With that approved, we'll move on to section 8 in our agenda. and that is the hearing of the public. I do have 2 requests to address us tonight, so I'll take them in the order that I was given. But before we begin, I do want to read our public participation policy. So to further improve the communication between the community and the board, time shall be allocated at each regular or special board meeting to hear public and or representatives of school-related organizations. Public participation at committee meetings is limited to those invited to speak on specific topics or issues. Each person addressing the board should fill out a form listing name, address, and the agenda or non-agenda item, and hand the form in to the board president, which has happened. Each speaker will have 5 minutes to address the board. No more than 15 minutes will be devoted to any one topic unless a majority of the board votes to continue the discussion. Speakers may offer such objective criticism of school operations as concern them. However, the board will not hear any personnel complaints of school personnel or complaints against any person connected with the districts. Concerns and comments about individuals should be brought to the attention of the administration. This was approved January 17th, 2019. And as we had mentioned earlier in tonight's meeting, we do want to address that this is the hearing of the public. This is not a discussion. So even though we are not going to respond to public comment, that doesn't mean that we're not paying attention. So with that, our first speaker tonight will be Amy Wolfenbarger, and she is here to address us about safety. Mrs. Wolfenbarger, if you want to come up to one of the tables where there's a microphone, it'll probably pick you up a little bit better. I want to thank you for coming.
Thank you for hearing me tonight. Amy Wolfenbarger, 54-6 Carthage Avenue. I was a parent of 3 children and graduated from Norwood School District, and now I am a grandparent of a child who goes to Norwood View. I'm here to discuss the incident that happened at Norwood View. I would like to start by saying that I like to keep myself pretty up on things politically, and I understand that you guys have your roles. But I would like to point out to the public that you guys write your own rules. And I would also like to point out to the public that at any time you can amend your agenda and you can suspend those rules. So I'm going to start off by saying that I'm extremely disappointed in the things that I just heard here as far as the new ordinance in speaking with the public. And then say you have 30 people show up, you're only going to allot 15 minutes. I would like to point out that
you have to respond to me. I'm not expecting that you will. We elect you.
We elected all of you. You are to be here for our community. This is just a measure for you to shield yourself from the electors and from the members of the community so that you don't have to discuss with us what you don't want to discuss with us. My youngest son is 30 years old, and that tells you how long it's been since my children have been in the school district. They were subjected to school shooter drills. Now, we had a threat at Norwood View the very last week of school. The school took it seriously, yet continued to not inform the parents, allowed the parents to drop the children off at school the next day, and within an hour of school starting or so, parents receive a very short message from the superintendent, which was described to me panic in her voice about the threat that was received. Parents should have been given the opportunity to decide whether or not their children went to school that day. That school should have been closed. So you apprehended the person that made the threat. What if she was working with someone else? I don't know if anyone ever thought about that. Like I said, school shooter drills, my youngest son's 30 years old. They went through school shooter drills. Unfortunately, and I hate to see this, but a lot of future school shooters are familiar with the drills. So I would like to know, but once again, I don't suspect that I'm going to get an answer, what the school is doing to be proactive about this outside of other than school shooter drills. What are we doing to ensure our children's safety within this school? What are we doing to protect the building? What are we doing? I mean, that's what I want to know, but I can tell you right now, I'm aggravated as all get out because you're just sitting here looking at me and it's making me mad. We love our children, and y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. Thank you. And I hope there's public record of this meeting.
Thank you, Mrs. Wolfenbarger, for those comments. The second person to address us tonight is Amanda Wolfenbarger, and she is here to discuss Norwood View. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. Amanda Wolfenbarger, 5406 Carthage. I also just wanted to express my concerns about the situation, hoping that maybe there can be a little bit more transparency in the future. There's a lot of parents that were concerned about how things went down. If the issue was known Thursday night, I think that maybe we could have been let to know Thursday night as well, and then I would have had the option Friday whether to send my child to school or not, especially with the things that had just happened previous in the week. You know, everybody's on edge. The world is going crazy right now. You know, we all are just full of anxieties. That did not help at all. And for that to just be a pre-recorded message that parents get, it's very unnerving, you know, because it's not like I could real quick record what was happening so that it would all stick. I couldn't ask any questions, you know, as far as, well, what's happening now and what is, you know, I noticed that morning that when I dropped my kid off at school, there was an officer at the bottom of the steps. And I thought, that's weird. The officer's usually down here at the crosswalk, but he's up. Didn't think anything of it until an hour later when I got that call. You know, and that's terrifying. And then I'm like, well, you obviously know that there's a threat because there is an officer at the door of the school in the morning. So you have these parents that are scared, and it's like, even on the social media platforms, why does the city not want the community to communicate about what's going on? I have friends that have children in other schools, and they didn't even know that there was a threat on Norwood View. If my son went to Sharpsburg or Williams, I would want to know that there was a threat in another school. You never know if, you know, that person's then going to go to the other school. You just never know. I wish you guys could respond, provide some type of comfort for the citizens, because we're all walking around lost here. And it's like, what are we supposed to do as parents at this point who are in fear of sending our kids to public schools nowadays? Like, please, can you guys just say something? Is it gonna get better? Like, is there a way we can stop the threats? Is it only happening at Norwood View, or is it happening at all the other schools? It's an issue that a lot of people are concerned about, and we need someone to just tell us something that's gonna give us some kind of comfort. And I guess that's all I have to say and express tonight.
All right.
So, thanks.
Thank you for your comments. And those are the only public comments that I have. With that, we'll move on to section 9 in our agenda, and that is reports, 9.01 board announcements. Does anybody have anything that they want to share with the board?
I have one thing on there. Stephanie Downey reached out telling me about the Shepherd Chemical Employee Award Day, which was held on 6/12, that they would be interested perhaps in next year to include the school board in their ceremony next year with some planning, because they've always been a wonderful partner for our district. And I just thought that was kind of a neat thing. I talked to her when we did the pool's 50th anniversary, and she had mentioned that to me. It was a little short notice to do it this year, but she had mentioned doing it next year, and I thought that would be a really great way for the school to continue encouraging that partnership with Shepherd. So I want to say thank you to her for encouraging that relationship.
All right. The only thing that I have is, I believe, on June 30th, do you have this in your report, the grand opening for the?
I do not.
So June 30th is the ribbon cutting for our school-based health center at the high school, and so will be present for that event. I believe that's at noon.
It is at noon. It is in the lobby. They've invited all the board members. I think 3 of you have RSVP'd. Everyone's welcome. They would like you there. I cannot make it, so would someone please take pictures? So we will have pictures of the event, because I will be out of town. So thank you.
And that's all I have. With that, we'll move on to 9.02, Superintendent's Report.
Oh, thank you. I would like to invite Glenna and Randall to talk about the launch of our new website. These are the 2 individuals who've put in all the time and effort on it. Our plan was to make it more user-friendly, so most parents really do want to access the website from the cell phones. So that was the entire purpose of redoing our website. So I'm going to turn it over to Glenna and Randall. Thank you.
Good evening. So our priorities as we approach this spring were to make sure our new website is user-friendly for families and staff, that we provide consistent updates moving forward from all of our buildings and all of our programs, and that the ease of use on a mobile device, as Ms. Ronan said, is top-notch. And also to publicize that that is a possibility so that people can be using it. And a nice feature of the program selected was that we'll be able to toggle translations, and things are accessible for anyone who might need additional help. This is kind of a quick look at the crisp, well, it is more crisp. I've covered a picture up there, but a more crisp website, just to look forward to that. The team involved, the vendor is Final Site and Norwood IT. Randall's put countless hours in on this. I'm working on content and working with stakeholders to make sure that we have all the pieces to the puzzle. It's a very big puzzle. Our staff and building leaders were involved from the beginning, and Vice President Cole helped us quite a bit with a variety of things. And we also had a parent focus group. And by and large, the parent focus group said, make us feel like we belong and we have places to jump in to support Norwood City Schools. For example, they want to know how to cheer for the home team, where to go, if they want to, like if they're new to the district, where Shea Stadium is, things like that. If they wanted to join boosters, how they would do that. So this will be more front and center on the site. How to join their PTA, PTO, or be an ambassador for our youngest learners. It's a 2-part launch, so expect some glitches. June 29th will be our soft launch. It will be out there in the world that day, but we really will continue to work on the site and get feedback from people like you and all the stakeholders involved, and recircle back to the focus group. On August 8th is when I hope to be promoting that the website has been revived, and also to push out things like, hey, on this website you can do calendar searches in kind of a new way. So you can select district and you can select which school building, or you can just get district. So it'll be very interesting to see how people start using things in a new way. And they can even subscribe, so there's a little orange button there. So you can subscribe to be notified if an event changes or something like that, which is pretty cool. That is all we have at the moment. Oh, the translation. So there's multiple languages. If they are on the site, they can click in real time if they want to see it in Spanish, etc. Any thoughts or questions? Randall's here. Randall's done a lot. Are there any pictures or visual links, like, you know, oh, I want to know, like, like the stadium, for example, like I've never been there, what does that look like? Or where's the entrance look like? What am I looking for? Are there photo updates for, this is your main entrance, this is what your entrance looks like, or something like that to help our parents, especially with our preschoolers, drop-offs, pictures of those areas, and including those map updates and links to those videos for our drop-off zones at the beginning of the school year. Things like that would be helpful. And then even for graduation, a parking map that we could upload to that site for our graduates would be helpful.
I'm going to ask you to stay on top of me for that.
You got it.
We definitely will, in August, be getting new videos from our principals, things like that, but we could add more like entrance type pictures. We did add some buttons, so before you get to the athletics page, you'll see the different field addresses, because that's one of the most common things. Like when I'm leaving here late, people are like, where's this building? Where's that? Where's the stadium? You know, I'm always given like scarecrow directions.
Or even like here, the high school doesn't really have a parking lot, so people might be looking for parking, and we could let them know to use this parking lot. Those types of little information pieces come in handy when you're not from around here.
Absolutely. Any other thoughts?
I was just emailing you, but I guess I could just say it out loud. When you said, I never think to talk, I think to type. When you said like the new community members are thinking about like how to support the home team, like I started thinking about like our spirit store, and I'm like, that would be fun, like if they could, you know, start buying some spirit wear and that kind of stuff too. So Coach Conwell would be in charge of that, being the new business teacher, so we could get him involved. And then I know like the athletic department, has kind of like, I don't know what you call it, but like they came out like with the 18 teams, one family or whatever,
Right.
you know, like they come up with like little special shirts. So maybe we could promote those types of things on the website too, so that the community can.
Any link that you want there, send my way, we'll get it there.
So I'll put Coach Conwell and Chuck.
That would be great.
With you.
Thank you all.
And thank you for your hard work. And Debbie, also, Vice President Cole, thank you for being part of this committee, because it's been many, many months.
Yes.
I don't feel like I added too much, and when I had an idea, it was just more work for Glenna, so I'm sorry.
It's all good. We'll get there.
All right, is that all for the superintendent's report?
Yes.
Thank you. 9.03 is the Great Oaks report. I'll turn the floor over to Board Member Ms. Ballard.
Thank you, Mr. President. This has been kind of a slow month for us, as it usually is. We had a curriculum review. I participated in the biomedical sciences. We're reviewing a lot of our medical department programming information this month. We also reviewed our treasurer and CEO contract evaluations. It's that time of year for everybody. We are opening the application process for our board leadership for next year. So we start that process now to accept applications for the fall for next season. Our ACTE conference, which is the Career Technical Education Conference, is this July, this time next month, the 25th through the 27th. I'll be attending that. The numbers that we were given for this year with our graduation, we ended up with a 31% increase in work-based learning placement participants from our previous graduation years. So we're getting a lot more kids signing up for programs to be active in the workforce, which is a fantastic number. And lastly, our golf outing that we do every year was held last week, and that raises money for the Great Oaks Education Foundation, which is a scholarship fund. And we pulled in over $40,000 for that scholarship program. And that concludes my report.
Wow. Thank you. 9.04 is the Norwood Community Television Board report. I'd like to turn the floor over to Vice President Cole.
Thank you, Mr. President. We do not have a report this month.
Well, that's easy. 9.05, the OSBA Legislative Liaison report. At least from my end, I've seen it's been pretty slow. I really don't have too much of an update. I know they're doing a little bit of work with that lawsuit is moving forward.
From the last thing that we worked on at the region meeting was working on the development of a new scholarship program called the Ronald J. Driver Scholarship. We approved language at the last meeting, and we're hoping at the August 9th meeting that's coming up that we'll be able to ratify that language
Right.
and have it set up to start collecting this fall at the regional conference.
Okay. Yeah, and then as far as the EdChoice litigation goes, I know there's been some amicus briefs.
At the point of my last meeting back then, we didn't have any updates on it besides what you gave, and our next meeting isn't until August, so I don't know yet.
Yeah.
So
Something did come out today. There was a Supreme Court ruling from some other state that they say really has no bearing on the litigation in Ohio.
That is correct. University of Notre Dame begs to differ, but that's okay. All right, and that concludes that report. 9.06 is the Avenues for Success report. And since Mrs. Rarica is not here, does anybody have anything from Avenues that they want to share?
They're running their summer program.
Okay. All right, perfect. Item 10 is future meeting notification. So it looks like, at least right now, we have our committee meeting scheduled for July 12th, 6 o'clock here. And then the board meeting, July 21st, 6 p.m. here. And I believe it's still here because high school's still embroiled in construction.
And there's no air conditioning.
No air conditioning.
Here is good.
So,
I will most likely be virtual potentially for both of them.
both of them?
I know definitely for the 12th, the 21st is, I'm still waiting on
Okay.
on a work date
All
for
right.
that.
Now, if it goes beyond that, I'm on vacation, so. All right, I'd like to make a motion that we approve these future meeting dates.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camphouse, please call the roll.
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
All right, with that approved, item number 11 is executive session. And we do have one item that we want to enter into executive session with. So I would like to make a motion in accordance with ORC 121.22G1, the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual. Can you get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camphouse, please call the roll.
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
With that, it is 7:06, and we are in executive session.
All right, it is 7:22, and we have reconvened back into open session. Last item on the agenda is adjournment. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.